Hi, I'm Pastor Herb. This past Sunday, we had Tyrus Morgan come in and speak to us. He sang some songs. He's a singer-songwriter from Nashville. I hope you guys enjoyed him. Also, he spoke to us about Compassion International. The really cool thing about this whole story is the story of love that he shared with us about how he talked about how he was moved to adopt a little girl from Ethiopia. And him and his wife have had her for 8 years now. I got to spend a little bit more time with him, and this is just an amazing story of love. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. In Luke chapter 10, verse 27, that's where we have the command from Jesus that says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your mind, all your soul, all of everything that you are, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And that's what Tyrus talked about, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, what he did was an amazing act of love to take him and his wife to take and bring a little girl who had no family into their home and give her a family and give her love unconditional and show her the love of Christ that way. But what I want to talk to you about today is a little story that happened to me about how you can, just by being yourself and walking upright before God, doing the things that God wants you to do in every situation, can have an impact on people. This past week, I was flying to Atlanta, Georgia, and a man he came up, and there was a center seat open in between. He asked if he could have a seat. I'm like, sure, absolutely. I let him in. I got up, sat down. We talked a little bit about kind of random things, not anything really important about his headset. And then he put his headset in and started listening to music. So we started here from Tampa and flew all the way to Atlanta, and there was no other conversation. And then when we in the flight, I usually do my devotion. So I had my iPad out and I was reading my YouVersion devotion, and I read some of a book called Simplify, and just had some time where I was just in meditation and read some more. And then I might have played a card game or something like that. And then I read some more of my Bible, put it away before we landed. When we landed, I stood up to get my bag out of the overhead compartment, and this man stood up pretty close to me, and he said, "Thank you." And I looked at him and said, "Well, you're welcome, but for what?" And he said, "You don't know how much it means to me to have a man of faith sitting next to me." Now, I didn't tell him that I was a man of faith, and I didn't demonstrate anything other than, I was honoring God, reading his word. I was polite, I was kind. Now, that's not the only thing we're called to do, but I think that we miss that, and we miss a lot of awesome opportunities to show the love of Christ in the simple things that we do every day. So apparently his mother had passed away, and he was on his way up there. And he told me that just because I was sitting there and I was reading the word and I was a peaceful spirit, he said that gave him comfort in this very difficult time in his life. And it didn't take any words from me or anything. All I had to do was be present. And I believe that you probably have opportunities like that every day to offer somebody a seat, to just sit with somebody and be quiet, to be kind, be courteous, put other people first. That's really loving your neighbor. And if we really truly love God and we want to get closer to him, if we want to demonstrate that, the way to do that is to show love to other people here on earth. Now, I know I'm difficult to love, and I know a lot of people like me that are difficult to love. But that's the challenge that makes the biggest difference in your life. And that demonstrates to God how much you really love him, when you love the people that are hard to love. So take that opportunity this week to show and demonstrate your love to other people and live out. You never know when somebody's watching you. At work, on a bus, on a train, on a plane, in traffic, when people are pulling out in front of you and you've got the bumper stickers on the back, somebody's always watching. You might be the only Christ that they see that day. If you're concerned about their eternity, then we need to respond like Jesus would. And we need to love them, even if they don't act right, even if they don't respond right. Our call is to act, respond, and love them like Jesus loved us. So that's my challenge to you today. On this Thursday, go out and love others like you love God. Show them you really care. Have a blessed week.